Howdy folks, welcome back to my world of tanks with the mighty Jingles. Today we're still on the patch 8.1 test server, we're still looking at the British medium tanks, and we finally arrive here at tier 8 and the Centurion Mark 1. Now I may have mentioned in a previous video I actually grew up 6 miles away from the Vickers Armstrong factory that manufactured these and other tanks. And they had a Centurion parked on a display stand outside the main gate, and I would stare at this thing every time I went into town on the number 21 bus from home to the city centre, and so this tank is pretty iconic for me, and the Centurion was one of the most successful tank designs in the world, and not just theoretically. This thing saw combat. The Israeli army had a lot of these things, and they absolutely kicked ass with the Centurions. So it was a good tank, and all I can say is Wargaming better not have messed this up, or I will be very upset. So moving on, let's take a look at the tank. 1450 hit points, same as the Panther 2, more than the Type 59. A good, nothing wrong with that. Good average amount of hit points for a tier 8 medium. And bear in mind, right, this is a medium, and it looks like a heavy, and that can be a problem when you're driving this thing, because I often fall into the trap of thinking this is a heavy tank, because it just looks like a heavy tank. It looks like a modern heavy. It really isn't. Right? You need to remember you're driving a medium, and you're not bulletproof when you're driving this thing, because it just looks so tough. It weighs 45.32 tons, which is alright. It's not too heavy, and it does have a 750 horsepower engine. Now, this is where you run into the first... Well, I hesitate to call it a problem, because it isn't really a problem, but it is the slowest of the tier 8 medium tanks, with the one exception of the Super Pershing, which is a tier 8 premium medium tank. But it's not that much faster than the Super Pershing, and this is going to surprise a lot of people, because believe it or not, the Super Pershing can actually do 38 kilometers per hour, but it's another one of those fantasy top speeds. The Super Pershing will not do 38 kilometers per hour unless it's being pushed by a couple of E50s or it's going downhill, because the power to weight ratio is very, very bad on the Super Pershing. It's a very heavy medium tank with a pretty weedy engine. The Centurion, while it is, aside from the Super Pershing, the slowest of the tier 8 mediums, it's slower than all the others, the T-44, the Pershing, the Type 59, the Panther 2, they're all faster than this thing. But it's not slow. 40 kilometers per hour is a reasonable speed, and the power to weight ratio is pretty good on this thing. You get 16.55 horsepower per ton, and that's not bad. It's better than the Type 59. It's not quite as good as the Panther 2. And again, going back to, or referring to an example I made about the suspension in the Comet review, one of the statistics that you cannot see when you're looking at the suspension of a vehicle is the ground resistance. And it seems to me that the ground resistance of the suspension on the Centurion Mark 1 is very, very, very good, because it accelerates very quickly, regardless of the terrain that it's on. And it doesn't seem to have a problem maintaining that 36-degree traverse speed, regardless of the terrain that it's on. It seems to have better suspension than the Comet. Not as good as the Cromwell. That would just be ridiculous. The Cromwell had amazingly good ground resistance on the suspension, but the Centurion's is pretty good too. So while that 40 km per hour speed limit seems like a bit of a bummer, it seems to reach that 40 km per hour a lot faster than most of the other tanks. In fact, I've found myself outrunning AMX 5120s from a standing start with ease, and that's quite impressive. Moving on to traverse, the turret traverse, and again, this is one of those things, I'm going to refer back to the Comet review. The Comet's turret turns 10 degrees faster than the Centurion's, 46 degrees. But the Comet's turret seems to resist turning at first. There's a noticeable feeling of inertia with it. You'll start to turn and it's slow, and then suddenly it starts turning very quickly. You don't get that at all on the Centurion. You know, it's 36 degrees turret traverse, rain, wind, or shine. It just turns at 36 degrees. It's not slow at first and then suddenly speeds up. It just is. And it certainly, 36 degrees is pretty damn quick. We're not talking about German heavy tanks here or anything. You know, the turret turns quite quickly. And it has a 400 meter view range, which is good, and a 750 meter signal range, which is good. But the armour, believe it or not, this is one of the better armoured tier 8 mediums. But but it's only 110 millimeters at the front of the hull, which is more than the Panther. It's more than the Type 59, but the Type 59 has better sloping, and it isn't as big a target at the front of the hull. This is quite a big target. It's a large tank. I mean, let's compare it to, for example, the E50, which is a massive medium tank. It's bigger than most nations' heavies. Where are we? Germany, yeah. Look at the size. Let's just compare. Right, there you go. It's the same size as an E50, and an E50 dwarfs over tanks like, the M6, the T1 Heavy. You can even park a KV next to an E50 and it would feel diminutive. It's a big tank. And that is a big old lower glacis. Now, I don't have the figures. All I know is it has 110mm of armour at the front at its thickest. So while the upper glacis is certainly 110mm thick, I do not know how thick the lower glacis is. But the angling isn't terrible on the lower glacis. It's about 45 degrees, as is the upper glacis. So the effective thickness is going to be more than 110. But still, you're at tier 8 now. You've got some big boys shooting back at you, and you're not going to come across many tanks that have problems penetrating 110mm of armour at the front. Yet, again, keep this in perspective, it is better than the Panther 2, which has 100, and the same kind of sloping. And the Panther 2 is an even bigger target from the front of the hull. So it's not all bad news. Side armour, absolutely pathetic, 51mm. And 38 at the rear. But again, and again, this is something I also said in the Comet review. Just because it's crap at the sides, it doesn't mean it's any worse than any of the other tier 8 mediums. Have a look at the tech tree, check out the armour of some of the others. Where's the Pershing? Yeah, 76 at the side, 51 at the rear. Not that much better. What about the T-44? 75 at the side, 45 at the rear. Again, not that much better. The French don't get a tier 8 medium. And the Germans, well, yeah, the Panther 2. Where is it? Where is it? Come on. Come on. Come to daddy. There you are. 60 at the side, 40 at the rear. So, again, not much better. So while technically it does have the worst... Oh, I suppose we could look at the Super Pershing while we're here. Yeah, why not? What's the Super Pershing side armour like? Yeah, 76 and 51. So, yeah, while it's true to say that the Centurion Mark 1 has the worst side and rear armour, it's not that much worse, and the other guys, they might have 20mm more armour, but it's still not going to stop any of the guns that are shooting at it. What you do need to be aware of, however, is with armour that thin, and you get this in the T28 prototype as well, which has comparable side armour, but very, very good frontal armour, is that angling is key to survival when you're getting shot at from the front. However, with armour that thin, even at that sort of angle there, you're going to find that you can, if the calibre of the gun shooting at you is big enough, you can still get the side armour penetrated. In a tank with, say, 80 or 90mm of side armour, that would bounce. But with 51mm of side armour, you're still going to get penetrated if the calibre of the gun shooting back at you is large enough. It's a phenomenon they call overmatching. Because regardless of the angle, the armour's so thin it's going to go through anyway. So that's something to be aware of when you're driving the Centurion Mark 1. Now the turret is a different matter entirely. It's a very well armoured turret. It's 165 at the front, and that's a good gun mantle. It's 112 at the sides, but it's only 90 at the rear. Now I'm not recommending you go and try to get yourself hull down in this thing, but depending on what's shooting at you, if you can cover up your lower hull, you're going to have a much better chance of survival. Weak spots from the front. If you are having problems penetrating a Centurion from the front, aim here or there, because those are very flat and the armour doesn't appear to be as thick. I have successfully managed to penetrate a Centurion from the front with the 77mm gun on the Comet by shooting into these bits here. I haven't experienced it myself, I haven't tested it, I haven't seen it, I haven't done it. However, I have heard reports that these smoke grenade launchers are actually weak spots. They don't look like they should be. They're just sitting on strips of metal bolted to the side of the turret, but apparently you can, and I'd like to get this confirmed, but you have heard that you can shoot these, you will penetrate them, you will damage the tank. These canisters, equipment canisters, toolboxes, whatever they are on the side, do not appear to be hit zones, however. The commander's cupola on the top, very, very small target. And the turret front top, very, very bouncy. You know, it's just such a good angle, and it's quite thick, so ping, shots are going to bounce off that. Now then, the gun. Actually, first, let's have a look at the research tree. This is kind of interesting. So there's the stock gun on the Centurion, and it is crap. It's the same gun that you had on the Comet. It's going to be a painful grind using that gun at tier 8. However, the other two guns, the upgraded 17-pounder and the 20-pounder, well, the upgraded 17-pounder, let's just show you what they look like. So that there's the stock gun, there's the 17-pounder, and it's pretty much the same gun, just with better penetration. It's crap. It does 150 damage. 150 damage in the tier 8 medium tank gun is just useless. But the penetration is better, but it's still not very good. So I don't know why anybody would want to research this 17-pounder, unless they just want to elite the tank, because it sits off to the side. It doesn't lead anywhere. To get to the 20-pounder gun, which is the gun you're going to want to get, you just have to go through the turret, and you're going to want the turret anyway, because let's have a look. There you go. The turret is so much better armoured than the stock turret. Stock turret has 27 armour at the front, but does turn slightly faster. With the upgraded turret, you get a lot more armour, but you lose 2 degrees traverse speed, and you gain an extra 20 metres view range. So you're going to want that turret anyway, and that's what you have to go through to get to the gun that you're going to want anyway. So screw the 17-pounder, just ignore it, don't even bother. It's going to be painful grinding out the XP that you need for the turret and the gun with that 77mm, but hey, that's what free experience is for. So this gun, this is where it's at. And it's not bad, you know. It's an 83mm 20-pounder gun. The rate of fire is 7.5 rounds per minute. It has 226mm of penetration. That's not bad at all. The average damage is on the low side, however, 230, but it is very, very accurate, 0.33, and 2.3 second aiming time, which isn't terrible. It's acceptable. Not a bad gun at all. It's just the damage output is a bit low. But let's have a look at the other, again, let's just compare it and see what the other tier 8 medium tanks have to put up with. What do their guns do? Well, it's not as much damage as the long 88 on the Panther 2, but it's not that much worse. It's only 10 less, and it's better penetration. The rate of fire is comparable, and it's even more accurate. And it has a faster aiming time. So, I mean, the Panther 2 is famous for having an amazingly good gun. And this 20-pounder is better. The only advantage the Panther 2's 88 has over our 20-pounder is it does a whole poxy 10 more damage and has a slightly faster rate of fire. So that's not bad at all. And there's, I don't even bother looking at it. I know it's going to be better than the Type 59's gun. The Type 59's a good tank, but the gun isn't very good. It gets the job done, but it's not very good. The 20-pounder, it is pretty good. 230 damage sounds a bit weedy, but put it into perspective with the other tier 8 mediums, and it ain't bad at all. So it's deadly accurate. The aiming time's not bad. The penetration's really good. And the rate of fire isn't bad either. So there's not a lot to dislike about this gun. I mean, you could wish it would do a little bit more damage, but I wish a bunch of big-titted Swedish blonde women would fall from the sky into my lap, but you can't have it all. I'll settle for that gun, and it works really well on this tank. Now, as with the Comet, you can fit a vertical stabilizer. And I would say that, that's not a bad idea, because you're going to be doing a lot of brawling in this thing. But the rate of fire on this thing is half the rate of fire that you have on the Comet. So I would just be a bit more cautious about firing on the move with this thing, because if that first shot misses, you do have to wait a lot longer than on the Comet to get the next shot in the breach. So a vertical stabilizer, I'd say, is a good idea on this tank, but use it with caution. Medium caliber tank gun ammo, enhanced gun lane drive. Enhanced gun lane drive, because while that 2.3 second aiming time isn't bad, less is better because your armour isn't that good, and the less time you spend exposed while you're peeking out to take a shot, the better, in my opinion. You could also go for where is it? There you go, improved ventilation. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I haven't noticed a need for anything like a wet ammo rack or enhanced coil springs to give increased durability to your suspension. So my choices would be gun lane drive, gun rammer, vertical stabilizer, or improved vents. Pick which of the three of those you prefer. Don't pay too much attention to my crew skills. This is a generic medium tank crew that I have used all the way up, and I just keep retraining them for each tank I put them into. These guys were in the Comet. However, for your dedicated crew, yeah, you probably couldn't really. I think Recon's alright. Sixth Sense would be fantastic, but it needs to be 100% before it starts working. Might want to think about, once whatever skill you choose gets to 100%, swapping it for Sixth Sense. That wouldn't be a bad idea. For the gunner, tank has a vertical stabilizer. I've given him snapshot, which is more effective with the vertical stabilizer, which is nice. Any other gunner skills? Not really. Snapshot's the best skill you can choose for the gunner on this tank, in my opinion. For the driver, I have gone with smooth ride, again, just to support the accuracy when firing on the move. Again, this skill is more effective when combined with a vertical stabilizer. And it's a skill, not a perk, so you know you can use it straight away. For the loader, I've just gone with repairs, but you know, camouflage works as well. Whatever, he's a loader. Possibly switch to, for example. Oh, that's interesting. The loader is also the radio operator, so yeah, you could go for situation awareness for more view range. But whatever skill you choose on the loader, once it reaches 100%, it's never a bad idea to swap it for safe stowage, just to increase the durability of your ammo rack. Although I haven't noticed this thing getting ammo racked that often. Maybe I've just been lucky, maybe I've been unlucky, maybe, I don't know. Doesn't really seem to take ammo rack damage that often. So, let's get some games in. Right, here it is, my first game in the Centurion, Mark 1. And this is where I started exhibiting what I'm going to call Centurion syndrome. It's where you think you're driving a heavy tank, but you're really not. Now, check out the manoeuvrability. That's pretty damn good. And as it should be, I mean, we're on a road, so you're going to get the best out of your suspension on this sort of surface. But it ain't much worse than that on rough ground. So I'm going to use this attempt to cover up my lower hull. Oh, Panzer 4S. And he actually puts a hole in me. But then we bounce. So what we can really hit here is his gun mantle or turret front. You know what? We can go through that. And he bounced one off us. There. That's where that shot went through. But the gun mantle is never going to penetrate. But that whole weak spot, that's what I'm talking about. None of that was lucky or aimed. If it was aimed, well done to him. Yeah, and even through an angled turret front with the Panzer 4S, no problem with this gun. Most of the time, that one actually hit the side, so yeah, not surprising that that one bounced. We're doing alright, we've killed 2 of theirs, and I've only taken 1 penetrating hit. A couple of bounces. There we go. Yeah, not bad at all. Okay, an ISU. It's a tier 8 game, by the way, in case it wasn't obvious from looking at the team list, so we should be able to do well. Look at the acceleration. There you go, top speed, straight away. Within seconds of starting moving. Very good power to weight ratio, very good suspension. So I'm going to go around and give that ISU the good news from behind with any luck. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know I'm coming. Now, Cromwell and Carnarvon in front of him will doubtless be very grateful of the relief. Where is he? There he is. Go for the engine, try to set him on fire. Doesn't. No, he was waiting to take his shot. He's going to be sorry. Gotcha. Now, ooh, Centurion. Actually got through, not sure where he hit me. Hit me from somewhere at the front, and again, they all seem to be going for that frontal weak spot I'm talking about. Now that I've saved the asses of those of that Cromwell and Carnarvon up to the north, it would be real nice if they'd come down here and help me out, but no, they are not moving. There's nothing for them to shoot at, and they're just sitting there. So now it's me against 2 Centurions, so I'm trying to back up in here and then get some angling in, but it's just not happening. And any second now, I managed to angle my front, and I start bouncing shots, but oh, look who's behind me. And meanwhile, these 2 pricks up here have only just started moving. So thanks, team. Useless arseholes. I could have used a bit of help from that Carnarvon. Even the Cromwell could have hurt these fellas. But, you know, overall, not too bad. So, next game in the Centurion was a tier 9 game on Ensk. It's an encounter battle. And there's a lot of tier 9s hanging around here. But, you know, my gun has 226mm of penetration. If I choose my shots carefully, I can hurt these fellas. Of course, if I come across another tier 8, you know, even better. You can't have it all. Right, that Jagdtiger 88 is taking a ferocious beating. There he goes, dead. And it was the Su-122-54. Now, I know I've been spotted now because I'm so close to that Mark 7 Centurion. Look at the rotation speed on this tank. Oh, T-32. Okay, puts a shot at me, I put a shot into him. And amazingly, our Su-122 just completely misses it. Okay, if I'm going to go for it, I'm going to need to protect my flank from those guys to the north. So I anticipate taking a hit as I come through. Oh, no, got away with it. Right, he is going to be able to hurt me in the side as I come out here. There isn't an awful lot I can do about that. Oof. There it is. All these was damage on tracks. That was lucky. Now, I really should be coming out here to take advantage of this, but I'm counting on my reload being faster than him. And that was more track damage. That one, however, wasn't. Ah, below average damage roll. But you know, even an on-the-money damage roll wouldn't have finished him off. And all this guy's managing to do is blow my tracks off. He must have hit me 5 times, only 2 of which actually penetrated. And in the space of time it took me to kill that T-32, we're winning 8-3. And it looks like we're about to cap as well. Oh, hello. This is what I'm talking about, the speed of this thing. It is by no means slow. But, you know, I don't even know if that ACMLE has taken any part in the game. He's still sitting in the deployment zone. And he doesn't appear to be trying to defend himself from that T-50-2. He's just putting shot after shot after shot into him. Yeah. Alright, well, fine. I'll go kill him. Yeah, the T-50 is just... he's just emptying his gun into that AFK. Oh well, we've all done it. I think he knows I'm coming. Oh, took a big old hit there. And I'm never going to win a circling battle against the T-50-2. However, looks like he's been tracked. Bang. And fired just too slow. The Jagdtiger 88 finishes him off. And he was actually the last one left alive on the team. So, yeah, not a fantastic game. We didn't really run into much. I was hung up killing that T-32 for most of the match, while just, you know, the whole game was going on around me, and it was just me and that T-32. But surprisingly durable tracks on this thing. In that, you know, 3 of the 5 shots that T-32 hit us with just got absorbed by the tracks. Did not expect that on a British tank. So while the side armour is crap, the tracks appear to be pretty durable. So that's something to be aware of when you're shooting at a Centurion, at least. So, fairly average matchmaking this time. Tier 8 medium tank, Tier 9 game, lots of Tier 9s, half the team. So, again, another tough game to do well in. And on a map that I have historically not done very well in at all. Actually, that's not strictly true. I've had some incredible games on this map. I've just lost them. A Bolter's medal on this map in my Type 59, still managed to lose. But I have had some good games. I mean, I don't know if you recall the Ferdinand replay I had on this game. I did incredibly well. So I feel like I've exercised my bogeyman where this map's concerned. I'm not afraid of it anymore. I've managed to get some good results here. Interesting choice of places to go for the Conqueror. Somebody else hit him at the same time that we did, but he's gone. Okay, they probably know I'm here now, so let's not invite return fire. Where that Centurion Mark 7 is over there on the right, there's probably more mediums coming over that way. But we're pretty strong over here. In fact, there's probably too many of us, so let's see if I can go somewhere else. Because there's going to be a lot of guns concentrating fire on that ridgeline up there. Oh, ISU 152 doesn't seem to want to go up here, why's that? Oh, right, yeah. It's a bit crowded over here as well. Alright. Yeah, where to go, what to do. Oh, hello. Come on. Oh, you're kidding me. 4 health. Well, Super Persian finished him off. He's dead, that's what's important. Hello. Ah! Come on. We're not going to reload in time. Ooh, another Conqueror. Yep. Decent hit on the Conqueror. That one bounced, but yeah, that probably hit his other glacis, and at that sort of back angle, that's going to bounce every time. I don't even know where that one went. So, yeah, we're kind of losing. Oh, an IS-6. He seems to be pointing his gun right at me as well. Penetrated. Really? Don't think so. Somebody's hitting me. Oh, well, that was a good bounce. What was that? Could have been the KV-5. Happy with that result. Where did it go? Can't tell. Oh, look at that. Off the side of the turret. Oh, a pattern. Just missed. Need to lead more. That's not going to reload in time. But can we get him as he comes around? Should be able to. If we can just, and again, not lead my target enough. But now he's stopped. That's more like it. Kind of a low damage roll though. Come on. Yeah, penetrated, no damage. Must have damaged the component. Oh, another Centurion. That one just missed. Seemed to go on target, but didn't. Conqueror's out of line of sight, but oh, hello. Oh, an STI. No, I'll hit this, take the side shot on the Super Persian instead. More likely to do damage. Yeah, not going to hit him now. Going to have to go for the STI. Oh, penetrate at the front of the STI. Seemed to go into his lower glacis, which was quite lucky. Oh, there's that IS-6 down there. They don't seem to be shooting back at me here. I think I'm... Oh, we're pulling the scores back. 7-3. Looks like we're going to win. Although, you know, I've lost games that were looking better than this, so let's not get too complacent. There's not many of us left over here. It all seems to be pushing up down to the south. That STI is coming down to join the Conqueror in the AMX. IS-6 isn't interested in sticking his nose out. Oh, was that an E75? I think it was. Got no shot at that Super Persian. The IS-6 is well in cover. There is an E75 on that ridge over there next to the Super Persian though. It looks like artillery shooting at him. Super Persian's making a run for it. He knows he's not going to make it off that hill. Not coming forward. Can we get him on the way down? Possibly. Not from that angle, but maybe when he comes out here. Yes! IS-6, and he knows I'm here. He hit me. Right, let's not hang around to get shot at again. There's every chance that that E-75 is shooting at me again, and look at that, through the side of the turret of an STI. That's a tough target to penetrate. There's only 5 of them left. 4 of them. Ah, good, right, so that IS-6 is down. So that's my flank covered. But that E-75 could still be a problem, and I'm not really going to hit this STI from here. Oh, E-75's dead. Right, let's go. And we nailed their artilleries, it's just that AMX left. And look at the acceleration of this tank. Actually, the speed and acceleration of this tank is about to get me into some pretty nasty trouble. So this is a salutary lesson for Centurion drivers. Don't be too keen to engage with French tanks. No, he's up here somewhere. Hiding. Watch this. He only has 294 health. 2 shots in at my side. Another one through the front. Another one through the front. Let me finally knock him out. Look at that. He very, very nearly killed me. I'm on 47 health. So, AMX 1390s with that 90mm gun. Significant threat to this tank from any angle you care to mention. And that was quite surprising. I thought I would at least be able to bounce some of them, but no. Well, I have to say I'm pretty happy with that result. 35,000 credits, 2,500 XP, doubled, first win of the day, and a Confederate badge. In a tier 9 game on a map that I don't normally do very well on. Yeah, I'd have to call that one a useful result. Did a butt ton of damage to the enemy team. Got a nasty surprise at the end though when I came across that AMX 1390. I was not expecting him to be able to penetrate the front of the hull of this thing quite as consistently as he did. Initially I thought he's got to be shooting gold at me, but you know, I had a look. And the 1390's gun has 170mm of penetration on that 90mm. And I only have 110mm of frontal hull armour. It is sloped, but 170mm of pen should be enough to get through it, and indeed it was. And he left me on 4%, and that could have ended very, very poorly for me, indeed. As it happens, I managed to get my second shot off and kill him before he could reload his 4th or 5th shot. But, yeah, that was a bit of a wake-up call. And the reason I'm concentrating on this 170mm of penetration figure is that, well, the Centurion is a tier 8 medium tank. I keep thinking it's a heavy tank, because it looks like a heavy tank, but it isn't. It's a tier 8 medium tank. And there are a lot of tanks in your battle range that are going to be shooting back at you with guns that have 175mm of penetration. We call them the Russians. Tanks like the KV-1S at tier 6, tanks like the T-150 at tier 6, tanks like the SU-100 tank destroyer with its 122mm gun at tier 6, tanks like the IS heavy tank with its 175mm penetration gun. Sorry, yeah, the 122mm gun with 122mm guns with 175mm of penetration. And if the AMX 1390 with its 170mm of penetration can consistently and reliably get through the front of your hull, then the Russian big boys aren't going to have a problem, even though they are all lower tier than you are. And when those guns hit you, they're going to do 390 damage. So a little cautionary tale there. I mean, if you look at this thing, it just looks like a heavy tank. It doesn't look like a medium. If you compare it to, for example, the Carnarvon, the tier 8 heavy tank, they look pretty much like the same tank. Carnarvon's just a little bit bulkier. And I keep looking at this thing thinking it's a heavy. I mean, it looks like a heavy. In fact, you know, you can take the stats of this thing, give it an extra 200 health, and plonk it down in a heavy tank line of any nation and it wouldn't look out of place. But it isn't a heavy tank. It's a medium tank. And just a little cautionary tale there. most of the guns of the tanks that you are going to be coming up against, specifically the Russians, are not going to have a problem putting holes in this thing. And when they do, they're going to do a lot of damage. So just be aware of that when you're driving this thing. It's a good, don't get me wrong, it's a good tank. I really, really enjoy it. That 20-pounder gun is really good. And the tank's fast, but it's not excessively fast, but it just accelerates and turns so incredibly well. And that is a very, very accurate gun. 0.33 accuracy. The aiming time is okay, 2.3 seconds. And it's got good penetration and reasonable damage and relatively fast firing. And we go back to the battle results screen. I mean, 35,000 credits and 2,500 XP and a Confederate badge ain't bad at all. And aside from being caught by surprise by the amount of damage that 3090 could actually do to me at the end, which, is a lesson I will not forget in a hurry, we did pretty damn well. 20 shots fired, 15 of them hit, 13 of which penetrated, and 2,400 damage. Took 8 hits, most of those from the 1375. From the 1390. But that was a good result. And a very enjoyable game, and I keep having enjoyable games in the Centurion. I can't wait to try the Centurion Mark 7. It's even better. I mean, compare the stats. It's got 152mm of hull armour, and the icing on the cake. Don't get me wrong, the 20-pounder gun that the Centurion Mark 1 gets is a good gun, but the Centurion Mark 7 gets the legendary 105mm Royal Ordnance L7A1 gun, and this gun has armed the tanks of every Western main battle tank you would care to name. The Leopard had this gun, the MacArthur had this gun, the M1 Abrams had this gun, there were even T-54s that had this gun. It is that good a gun. In real life, how good is it in World of Tanks? Well, as soon as I play in the Centurion, I'll let you know, but I've had a go of it on the FV4202 and it certainly didn't disappoint. It's the same gun. So that'll be fun. But anyway, back to the Centurion Mark 1. Great tank. Definitely, beyond any shadow of a doubt, my new favourite Tier 8 medium tank. I am 100% gonna get me one of these when the British tanks come out. It is just such a good machine. So, what next? Right then, so Tier 8 game, Port, one of the new North American maps released in patch 8. Lots and lots of Tier 8s, couple of Tier 7s, couple of Tier 6s, and then a platoon of Chaffies. Well, I hope we don't come to regret having those guys on the team. So we should be able to do well here. Unfortunately, this preview is another case of I've had some fantastic games in the Centurion, and none of them recorded. Watch this guy on the Panther M10. Watch this little spunk gargling cock monkey. You little prick. Yes, yeah, he's a Russian. Yes, I don't have RU after my name, so it's just something you have to get used to on the test server. Little spunk gargling cock monkeys with grudges about the Cold War, taking pot shots at anybody who doesn't have RU after their name. I hope you die of face cancer. So, anyway, yep, let's put that behind us, let's move on. Let's not hold grudges. It's the test server. This happens. Unfortunate, but not a lot you can do about it. And you know what, there's just as many Americans and Europeans who hate the Russians, who do exactly the same thing. There's just more Russians on the test server, so you see more Russians doing it. But let's get on with it. So who's coming up here? There's me. There's a Tiger 2. Looks like a stock Tiger 2. Who drives a stock tank on the test server? You've got 100 million experience and credits. Get your tank fully upgraded, for God's sake. Got no shot at that SU-101. So myself, a Tiger 2 and a Type 59. Yeah, alright. Happy with that. There's enough of us. Quite surprised I've not been quite surprised I've not been shot at by anybody other than a retard on my own team. Oh, and he's dead. Good. I hope you die in a car crash. And there's nobody here. Oh, we can take advantage of this. Even though, you know, we're losing 2-4 because... SU-100. Oh, God, oh, why hasn't he fired? Ah, you missed. Oh, we're going to have him. There we go, Type 59 finishes him off. That was good. An especially bad SU-100 driver, I will quite happily take advantage of his ineptitude. He must have shit a brick when he saw me coming around the corner. Interestingly, we've taken some bumps and scratches from collision damage on the way round. Not a lot, just 3 small little hits. Okay. KV-1S. Right, he can hurt us. But, you know, we can hurt him as well. And he takes 15 seconds to reload. Bang. And angle, and doesn't make any difference. It's still, could have been worse though, 293 damage. That gun can do a lot worse than that. So get a driver back in action. Type 59 ninjas my kill again. Yeah, that's fine. He's dead, we're not, that's what matters. And now we've pulled the scores back a little, it's 6-6. Could go for the cap, but screw that, let's kill tanks. And it looks like, yeah, Type 59's coming with us. Target 2's turned back as well. Oh, bouncing all over the place coming over these tracks. Ah! Went low, missed. Can we reload? No, he's gone. Take the shot anyway, because it's a lurver, it doesn't move very quickly. Probably put one through the back of his turret there. Oh, ISU-152. Yeah, we'll have him. Much bigger threat than that Super Pershing. Are we going to get a finish him? I don't think we are. Going to have to take shots at the Super Pershing. Did we take his tracks off? I think we did. Yeah. I can't see him just sitting there taking flanking shots if his tracks weren't nailed. So, yeah, we probably did. Definitely taking his tracks off there. Target 2 finally gets stuck in. Now we got him. Good. And we're still losing. There's only the 4 of us left. Unfortunately, you can't choose your teammates. T-34 over there. Ah, yeah, I saw that coming. And he managed to get down. We had to rush the shot to have any chance of hitting them. And we hit and just, you know, bounced. Such is life. We're still kind of down a little here, 486 health. Not looking too good. Okay, oh, ISU. Gotcha. KV-2. Even though he doesn't have the penetration, he can still do a significant amount of damage to us, and that T-34 is still running around on the flank. So I'm keeping an eye open for him. Ah, crap, there he is. Fired on the move. Hit him. Missed me. Now, I should probably have gone around because... Ow, that hurt. But I will reload before he does. Gotcha. Now I'm sitting here on 87 health. Now bear in mind that that little spunk-gargling cock monkey in the Panther M10 did 141 damage to me. And the Lurver's gun, you know, I can't remember how much damage it does. So basically, one shot from that Lurver and I'm a dead man. And I picked the wrong side. Ah! I went round the wrong way and I'm trying to hide behind this dead IS. But no. Basically I had 2 choices which way I was going to go around that building. I go around one way, I got 3 shots in the arse of the Lurver. I go around the other way, and unfortunately that happened. So now all we have left is a stock Tiger 2 who manages to kill the Lurver. And somehow we've managed to pull it back. But why are the scores 13-13? There's only one of them left. They must have a team killer. Oh god, not another one. Now, I don't speak Russian, and there's a good chance these Russian guys here don't speak English, and I'm not going to waste my time typing into chat. What I wanted to say here was, look, Super Pershing, you guard the cap. Tiger, you go for their cap, because the Tiger isn't fast, but he's faster than a Super Pershing. And there's a bit of chat going on here, and all I can assume, because that is in fact exactly what they do, is that they're talking amongst each other here and saying, yeah, Super Pershing, you're slow, you guard the cap. Tiger, you're reasonably fast, you go and flush out the T50. And that's exactly what they do. So, you know, good teamwork, good decision making, well done fellas. I'll just speed things up a little so you can see things develop. Yeah, you're not going to get around the wreck of that Lerva. Oh, you probably could. You could push him out of the way, but it's probably faster just to do what he's doing. Yeah, they're all talking to each other here. Tiger 2 is giving it affirmative, so he's been told to do something, and there you go. Super Pershing's pulling back, Tiger 2's going for it. Come on, boys. Flush that little bastard out. And, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if he was sitting AFK in the base. There's just as much of that on the test server as there is on the live server. Go, little Tiger. Go for Mother Russia. Yeah, there he is. AFK. And boom, Amaranth. So, that was a win, which is nice. Well, it's hard not to like a tank when you can play a game like that in it. Admittedly, we were top tier. But 3000 XP. Second class mastery badge, sharpshooter, master gunner. And 1, 2, 3, 4 kills and damaged a whole buttload. So what sort of damage did we do there? ISU 152, yeah, not a massive amount of damage. 2 hits on him, boom, he's dead. SU 100, good amount of damage, 2 hits. Type 59 kept following me out, following me around and finishing off all my targets. Hey, but you know, that's not a problem. Super Pershing, 4 good hits into him. 2 of them were just crits, damaged his tracks. But yeah, some good damage. KV1S, 2 good shots into him. He got a good one to us in return. It's the risk you take. KV2, well, it was just an execution style shot on the back. 45 damage, but it was enough to finish him off and end the threat that he was posing to the Tiger 2 that didn't want to come around the corner and get shot at by him. Unfortunate about the Lerva, we picked the wrong way to go around that building. I thought I was going to pop up behind him. It turned out he was facing exactly the wrong way, exactly the right way for him, and he killed me. And the T-34, yeah, did some good damage to him too. Oh, and we did. Best experience, most experience out of anybody else. So we did the best on the team. But it's not difficult to do that in the Centurion. It's a great little medium tank. How did we do? 18 shots fired, 16 hits, 15 of which penetrated, 2,500 damage done. Took 4 hits, but 2 of those were real big ones. Detected 1, damaged 7, killed 4. Decent result. And again, you can always tell it's a good result if you still make profit, despite the fact that you're running a tier 8 tank. And the reason you tend to make profit, I think, particularly in the Centurion compared to any of the other tier 8s, is the ammo cost. I fired 18 shots and it only costs me 1,500 credits to resupply my ammunition, because it's really a medium tank gun. That 20 pounder is only 83mm. There are other tier 8 vehicles that will cost you 1,500 credits or more every time you pull the trigger, let alone after you've fired 18 shots. Yes, ISU 152, I'm looking at you. But then again, when the ISU 152 hits you, you know all about it. The Centurion only does 230 damage. The ISU 152 does 750. But that's still a far, far better cost to result ratio than in the ISU 152 or most other. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say any other of the tier 8s. They're all just more expensive to fire. So this is going to be a very cheap vehicle to run, and very attractive machine for guys who don't have premium accounts. But, you know, we do have premium accounts, so 28,000 credits, 1,452 XP, undoubled. Pretty good result. Can't complain about that at all. So, where does that leave the Centurion as a Tier 8 medium tank? Well, on balance, I would have to say I've just found my new favourite Tier 8 medium. There isn't an awful lot to not like about this tank. It's not the fastest of the Tier 8 mediums, but for my money it's got the best acceleration, handling, agility, manoeuvrability. The armour is no worse than any of the other Tier 8s, and in some cases it's better. The Type 59, for my money, still has a better armour, but it's better armoured than a Panther 2. It's probably comparable to a T-44. T-44 doesn't have the thickness, but it's got better sloping at the front, and it's not as big a target. The side armour is weak. I can't argue with that. The side armour is very, very weak. However, the suspension is incredibly durable. As you saw when that T-32 put 3 shots into the side, and the tracks just ate it and ate it and ate it and didn't fall off. It takes a near miss from artillery to blow the tracks off this thing. That seems to be what I'm discovering. And that's that's a good thing. And the gun is very, very, very good. Now, you could look at the gun and think, well, only 230 damage, but you know what, 230 isn't bad. It's the same as the LB1 gun on the T-44. It's only 10 less than the AMX 1390's 90mm gun, than the Pershing's 90mm gun, and then the Panther 2's 88mm gun. So 230 isn't bad. It's right on the ballpark of the other Tier 8 mediums. And it's got the best penetration by a country mile. The rate of fire is just as good as any of the others. The accuracy is better than any of the others, and the aiming time is the same or better than any of the others. So that is a really, really good gun. Very impressed with its performance, and it seems to suit this tank very, very well. What you've got here is I'll call it quick. It's just because it's not as fast as any of the others doesn't mean it isn't a quick tank. It's very manoeuvrable. It's got a great gun, and the armour is good enough. This is definitely my new favourite Tier 8 medium. And what speaks volumes about that is that the only other Tier 8 mediums that I own are the Type 59 and the Panther 2. I got rid of my T-44, I got rid of my Pershing. I will be getting one of these, and I will be keeping it. It's a really, really good tank. It's way better at Tier 8 than the Comet was at Tier 7. No question about that. The Comet was okay, but none of the Tier 7 mediums are that good, with the T-20 probably being the best of a fairly mediocre bunch. I will be playing the Comet and probably not having a terrible time in it, but I'll only be playing it to get this thing. I really like this tank, and I hope you guys too, because I've had a lot of fun driving it. So that was the Centurion, the British Mark 1 Centurion, Tier 8 medium tank. Thumbs up from me, and as always, take care, and I'll see you on the battlefield.